Hello students, let's continue with the anatomy of the sphagnum stem. In previous video I discussed about the systematic position and external morphology of the sphagnum plant. So as you know the stem of this sphagnum plant is grows vertically and it is having the nodes and internodes. These stem bears some lateral branches. So on the stem and some lateral branches contains the scale-like leaf. So today we discuss about the anatomy of the stem. So this is the central sections of the stem. In that you have to see the outer layer is the epidermis. Then next to the epidermis there is the cortex region, and after this cortex region there is the prosencymatous region, and at the center there is the medulla. So let's discuss the one by one part. This stem shows the four regions. First is the epidermis. So epidermis, it is the outermost limiting layer. It is a uh, single layer of the cells. The cells of the epidermis are larger and they are compactly arranged. The functions of this epidermis, as you know, it is the protection. Then next to the epidermis, the second part in the anatomy of the stem is the cortex region. So cortex region is present below the epidermis. This cortex region is made up by the 3 to 6 layers of the parenchymatous cells. These cells functions as they absorb water by the capillary actions, and they can store the waters in the cortical cells. So this is about the cortex region. Then next to the cortex region, the inner to the cortex side there is the prosencymatous region. So this prosencymatous region is also called as the handrome, or these made by the prosencymatous cells. These prosencymatous cells are somewhat elongated and thick walled, or which is function as a supportive to the, or they can do the functions of the supportive. So this is about the prosencymatous region. So this prosencymatous region is also called as the hand dome. Then next to the prosencymatous region there is the fourth region is the medulla. So this medulla, it is the central core of the stem axis, and it made by the, or it is multi-layered. Mostly in this region is the colorless, and the cells are thin-walled chlorenchymatous cells. These cells are also corresponds to the pith of the higher plants. As you know, in higher plants, in the stem at the center there is the pith is present. So these medulla cells or the medulla region is similar like the pith in the higher plants. The functions of the medulla is the or they can do the function for the storing tissue. So this is four regions which are observed in the anatomy of the stem. That is, first region is the epidermis, which is outer layer. Then next to the epidermis there is the cortex region. Then prosencymatous cells, and fourth at the center it is medulla is present. So this is about the anatomical structure of the stem. Then next is the anatomy of the sphagnum leaf. So as you know, I have already discussed with you the morphology of the leaf. So leaf of the sphagnum plant, it is a scale like, and midrib is absent in this leaf. So mostly these leaves are present on the stem and branches. So on the stem the single leaves is present at the nodal position, and on the branches the leaves are spirally and compactly arranged. So let's move towards the anatomy of the leaf. So if we take the sections of the leaf, the two types of cells are observed in the leaf. One is the chlorophyllous cells and hyaline cells. So this is the structures of the leaf, in that some hyaline cells and photosynthetic cells are observed. That means the chlorophyllous cells. So, chlorophyllous and hyaline cells are present alternately with each other, and they form the net-like form. So, these chlorophyllous and hyaline cells, they are present alternately. So these next discuss about the chlorophyllous cells. So chlorophyllous cells are somewhat smaller size or small living cells. They contain the many discoid chloroplast, and they may be triangular or biconvex in shape. They also known as photosynthesis cells, being the photosynthesis or photosynthetic in function. So these chlorophyllous cells are also called as the photosynthetic cells. They contains the discoid chloroplast, and they are small living cells. The shape of the cells is the triangular or biconvex in shape. Then the hyaline cells, these hyaline cells are somewhat large. They are polygonal in shape, uh, colorless and non-living cells. So these cells have spiral or annular thickenings and pores. These cells absorb the water, and therefore they are called the capillary cells. So these hyaline cells are help in the absorbing the water. So these hyaline cells are also called as the capillary cells. These cells, the size of the cells are large, and they are polygonal in shapes. They are colorless and non-living cells. The some annular thickenings or spiral thickenings or some spores are also present on these hyaline cells. So this is about the hyaline cells. So in the leaf, mostly the two types of cells are observed: chlorophyllous cells and hyaline cells. Chlorophyllous cells are small living cells. They contain discoid chloroplast, and the shape of the cells are triangular or biconvex, and they help in the photosynthesis. That's why these cells are also called as the photosynthetic cells. Hyaline cells are large size, they are polygonal, and they are non-living cells. These cells are spiral, having the spiral or annular thickenings, or some pores are also present on that cells. These pores absorb the water. That's why these cells are also called as the capillary cells. So this type of cells are observed in the anatomy of leaf. So in today's lecture, I have discussed about the anatomy of stem and leaves. In stem, four regions are observed, that is epidermis, cortex, then prosencymatous region and medulla region. And in the anatomy of sphagnum leaf, two types of cells are observed, that is chlorophyllous cells and the hyaline cells.